Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the final of the LA Sevens. Great Britain taking on France and what promises a new victor in the LA Sevens. Now looking through at the starting lineups. First of all for France, they will be as follows. It is Pascal, Zedar, Paulin Riva, who had a tremendous performance in the last contest. Rebage, Stephen Perez Martin. So they've actually gone with him ahead of Antoine Dupont in the starting side. Joseph Jefferson Lee and Jordan Sefo to close out this French team. Then for GB will be Jamie Barden, Alex Davis, Morgan Williams, Tom Emery, Barreto, Ethan Waddleton, and Ferguson, the last man in their starting side. Now both of these sides, I feel like they've had an interesting road to this matchup, mainly because Great Britain, they lost 2 of their games in the group stage, but still managed to advance, getting those losing bonus points, which became absolutely crucial. Then for the French, they also suffered a loss in their group stage. Fun fact, both of these teams lost to Fiji. Just a random fact there. Somehow, though, they are the 2 sides in the final, and Fiji, of course, were defeated by Spain in the semi-finals of the competition. The quarterfinals. And I'm cheering for the Welsh side of GB, and let's go Kiwi Lads, says Blues Nate. And there as well, but this final just about to kick off. There is a real big match feel. France sitting in 7th at the moment on the rankings. Great Britain are in 10th. So no matter what, one of these sides is getting 18. One of these sides is getting 20 in the points department. But there's so much more on the line here. These 2 sides, this is their best ever opportunity to win a leg of the Sevens, and Team GB are in position. Alex Davis going back across to Emery. And it's going to be all about getting those passes right early, keeping possession of the ball. France did it so well up against the Irish, being able to defend while the side had a majority of possession against them. Ethan Waddleton did not find the offload. Joining the breakdown from the side, that should be the penalty to France, and it is indeed. So now they do get the penalty. 22 metres out from the line. Stephen Perez Martin goes quickly. Gets it across to Zadar. Goes to Pascal, who's knocked it on. A few early blunders for both of these sides. And GB will win, I hope. There's Kevin. And also we've got their Palmery. Is not here. Did I say that good? Says Mikhail, and I support the underdogs. Who are the underdogs in this game? So the underdogs of this contest is Team GB. All time cup titles. 1 for France, 0. The Great British side have never got themselves a Sevens title. Of course, that is not conclusive of the titles that the separate teams of Great Britain have been able to get. But this is a big chance for both of these teams. The fact that France only have 1 leading into this game as well, there's a lot on the line. Someone's going to be putting their name in history. The scrum is good. Kalen Barreto going for the ball. The penalty does go the way of Team GB. Barreto wasn't quite on the mark, but the referee says play on. Now charging through, they get Pascal. Tackles Ferguson. Joseph Jefferson Lee trying to cause problems in the breakdown and slow it down a little bit. Good to see you. At least we are with the same team on this one. There's Mikhail. Big shot coming in from Zedar on Alex Davis. Wasn't held, so he is able to go again, and that will be Great Britain's ball once more. Another quick tap taken by Morgan Williams. Goes away to the right-hand side. This game being played at a frantic pace, and already 2 minutes down. Kalen Barreto cuts it towards the 22. GB look to shift it to the left-hand side, where they have got the numbers if they decide to use them. Already 3 minutes through. Morgan Williams around the side of the breakdown. Pierces the gap, doesn't get through though. Needed that last defender to miss the tackle on his legs. Alex Davis, 10 metres now. Jordan Sefo, he's been told to release twice by the referee. Probably very lenient to not penalise him there. Now Barreto goes across to the right-hand side. Morgan Williams. Yes, Miguel, good to see that. We're on the same side. Yeah, I'm feeling a bit sleepy though, says Simran. But GB trying to wake you up with a nice wide cutout pass to Emery. And it's still there. 3 minutes gone on the clock. Ethan Waddleton, flat run. Zedar cuts him off. Pascal puts the pressure on. He's doing a headstand. He's got himself upside down. Now, earlier on, this is not a lie as well, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier on, we saw a player who was balancing almost on his head, on all fours, and his teammate put his head right up into where you don't want it. So one of the players almost went off for an HIA because he hit his tailbone, and the other player had sore balls. But that is now going to be a scrum feed for their Team GB. 19 years since France's last cup title. 19 years. Of course, almost as old as I am. Almost as young. Oh, I don't know what way. I'm older than that. But 3.5 minutes remaining. Alex Davis has to make his way from the field. It's like some sort of injury here. Sadly, a bit earlier on in this game than they would have anticipated to have to take him off. France have got the scrum. 10 metres out. A lot of pressure being put on by Kalen Barrera. Now Pauline Riva. Only a few metres out from his own line. I was a bit immature before he says Simran. And there as well. Now going back across to the left-hand side. Oh, Sefo. They tried to tackle him far too high. I think that's Kerr, who attempted it twice. Hamish this weekend, 10 hours of Super Rugby on Saturday, 4 hours breaks till Six Nations Sunday morning. Says the Blues nay. Although it's going to be a tricky weekend because I'm also not going to be home for some of the weekend. I'm going to be up in Christchurch for that match between the Black Caps and Australia. But I am still hoping to do a majority of the streams that we normally would do. But there may just be a couple breaks in there as well. But yeah, anything that we miss, we're going straight back into as soon as physically possible. They are just showing once again Sarevi watching on for this game. 2.5 minutes remaining in the first 7 minutes. Hang on, how many? We've got about 4 players getting drinks at the moment. I think the drinks were run onto the field, so they do have time off. So Great Britain, if they were to win this, they would actually advance right up into, I believe they would get to 7th place. If France were to win this, they would actually advance right up to probably about 4th on the rankings. Now Stephen Perez-Martin going to the right-hand side. Nice flat run from Pascal. No look pass on the outside to Joseph Jefferson-Lee. Now Pauline Riva looks for the offload. Kick downfield from Pascal. He's got too much juice on it. And it's now going to be the scrum. Both of these sides, Carlton Fields are rushing it, trying to create the magical try straight away. Like, that was a beautiful play from France. Just a nice inside ball, but he needed to take the contact there to then set up the offload rather than looking to get rid of it as soon as physically possible. A 1 minute 50 on the clock remaining now. The scrum feed for GB. Played 1, lost 1 in cup finals. The only time that they made it to a cup final was 2021. That was in Edmonton, where they were defeated by South Africa, I believe it was. Now, it's going to be fed in. Like they've just said, though, England have won twice in the USA. GB trying to replicate that. Emery goes across now. Nice little loop. Oh, ankle's done. Emery's leg's gone out. Pascal he's going to score the try almost, or at least he's going to attempt to. That is very unlucky, though, for Team GB because they've pretty much lost one of their players, and because of it, his pass was wonky. France are going to capitalise. They've got numbers on this side. If they pass it out wide, fair play to Zaydar because he didn't just go for the easy option. They could have gone out wide and scored it because there was a player on one leg. Instead, he cut up the middle and still looked to score it. But GB's injury list increases now from 4 to 5. Unfortunately, they are dropping like flies. It's a good thing that they've got a month off, but Emery just loses it. And then, of course, the pass was a little bit rough. And Zaydar to get through. We're just checking that one. It's pretty brutal. The referee's saying you have to move the player from under the posts. This looks like it's calf muscle, I would say, for Emery. The way that he pulled up and straight, tell you what, Alex Davis, he's about to make his way back out onto the field. Now, he is injured, ladies and gentlemen. But he's willing to go back out there because he's pretty much the only option they have. They have one other reserve, and I believe that's a forward. And also, when is the next Sevens leg? It is in 1 month's time. 5th of April is when it is going to be starting up. Oh, we're seeing one player look like he's about to warm up. It might even be an Achilles. Yeah, it did look quite low, didn't it? They are just lifting him off the field now. Nice. Says Blues Nate. So by the sounds of it, they haven't had to bring Davis back out as of yet. Tell you what, they've got a blood bin as well. They've just said Sofalarin, he is injured. He is on one leg. Or I don't even know what's... Yeah, I think it's his knee is injured for Sofalarin. He's walking on it, probably not. No, he wasn't. He was getting lifted. Like one leg was swinging, which was the non-injured leg. He couldn't put any weight on it whatsoever. So it looks relatively serious. They've also got a cut above their eye. Yeah, Sofalarin. He's going to make his way on the field. He's not sure if he's supposed to yet. Now he is. Sofalarin, the injured GB player. He's got heavy strapping on that knee. You wonder how much more of a severity this could be. All they're saying on the commentary at the moment is if GB can do this with the amount of injuries that they have, it would be absolutely incredible. But claimed almost by Zedar, knocks it on, and that's going to be halftime. Burrito. He was holding his hamstring there. They have no players left. They're going to have to play, you know, in rugby union, when your props are injured, you have to go uncontested scrum. They're going to have to play walking sevens in the second half so that more of the GB players don't lose their limbs. I hope he's okay. 8 leg injuries. Those are the worst. Says Mikel. Now the ball's going to be fed in by Kalen Barreto, who I believe we're still going to keep a close eye on. He's been tackled without the ball there from Stephen Perez Martin. They need a loan quick, says Gus. The coach is going to have to take his jacket off and go into it. Right, they're going to kick this one into touch, GB. They've decided that there's no point risking an injury here when they need all their players at 100%, well, at about 40% for the second half. But boy, do they have some planning to make. There are players with cuts under the eyes. There are players with bands wrapped around their heads. Can they substitute from another team? They cannot. If they run out of players, they run out of players. And at the moment, it looks like that's what Great Britain are going to experience here. We could see a whole new look GB in 1 month's time in Hong Kong if some of these injuries are as severe as they have looked. Halftime 7-0 in favour of the French. Sorry about the scoreboard. There we go. It has now updated to the 7-0. Now we aren't 12 minutes in either. We are actually just still in the first half finishing stage. Halftime. About to have the second half. But boy, it's been a hard graft for GB. Can they get through the huddle uninjured? Says Gus at the moment. Yeah, got a question. I mean, Kalen Barreto just walked and ended up pulling that hamstring before. So I hope they're going to be all right. Like, that's the thing. There's so many injuries that have happened. And it's almost, I know it's comedic in a way because they have got so many. But yeah, at the end of the day, hopefully they are going to be all right to continue in this match, because it would be a massive shame to see a final determined like of Zedar. If it wasn't for that Emery pulling up lame with his calf, he kind of rushed the pass, didn't get it right because he was on one leg, and then France scored off that. So it would be a shame if multiple tries did come from players from GB breaking, if that makes sense. But these two sides, the last time that one of them won a title was 19 years ago. And how much Ireland, Spain? So 24-7 in favour of the Irish. They were 14-0 at halftime though, so a little bit of fight back from the Spanish. Right. The huddle talk from GB was pretty much saying, look boys, we know you're all hurting, but we just need 7 minutes. In Great Britain, they will kick this one off. Hopefully Robbie Ferguson doesn't pull a calf while kicking it. Does put it high now. Chasing after this. It's going to be Kerr, one of the players who are still standing, even though he's got heavy strapping on that left knee. They're going to hold him up. Now they've turned it into a maul. Great work in the breakdown. Oh, he's being penalised, though, not clear releasing for, I think it was, no, it wasn't Emery. I think it was Jamie Barden. Oh, France are going to go for the quick tap, try and keep Great Britain running around the field. And they haven't made the sub of Antoine Dupont either, but I feel like later on in this contest, if GB have already got a lead, he will be able to extend it. Rebash goes across now to Stephen Perez-Martin. Out to Pasquet, who's got a little bit of tape on his head himself. Ferguson gets him down. It is available. They have milked it off his leg, though. Quick tap taken by Joseph Jefferson Lee. Back across to the left-hand side. Rebash passes on the outside to Pauline Riva. Jordan Sefo almost going through the tackle attempt. Been taken down to ground now, though. Kerr trying to cause a bit of disruption in that breakdown. Currently leading in the cup final. Offload to Joseph Jefferson Lee. Another offload to Zedar. Another offload to Rebash. Another offload to Stephen Perez-Martin, and he will score the try for France, keeping the ball alive, working hugely for the French there. Just offload after offload after offload. First one was from Zedar to Joseph Jefferson Lee, then Rebash. Then Zedar, then Rebash. And then Stephen Perez-Martin at the end. France in the box seat. And this one could end up running away now. Stephen Perez-Martin does get the extra 2 points as well. So that will make the score 12 points to now Antoine Dupont. Now being put onto the field. He has scored 3 tries, had 3 assists, and had 3 line breaks. And that sounded like an amazing try. Says McCall. Yeah, they just keep going, keep keeping that ball in the field of play and not allowing it to go to the breakdown. Now 5 minutes remaining. And at this final, it's going to be slapped backwards. Kalen Barreto. Ball is there for them. Another big fend. It's shown a full moon to the crowd in the final game. Aidan Kerr having to pull his trousers back up. Now passed out wide. Oh, Charlton Kerr has knocked it on that time to point on. Says Gus. He's not sure if it's gone forward, but the referee has said so. He was just asking the question, wasn't it backwards, ref? Another sub being made by the French, who will certainly be the fresher side. Yeah, that does look backwards there, but it's going to be the scrum feed for the French, and this uses up just a little bit more time. Andy Timo now making his way on. I see Jordan Sefo is coming off, and Rebage, the other sub that they have decided to make. Just the 4 minutes remaining now. Kalen Barreto just having a bit of a chat to Antoine Dupont. Oh, and he's knocked it out of his hands. Saying he was off early tackle. I think he almost timed that. Kalen Barreto, I think they will go for the kick for the corner. Dupont gets it into Dutch, maybe about 20 or so metres out from the GB line. Now Dupont. Sounds like they might even consider the rolling maul drive from the French. That is something you don't see too often. Taken by Timo. No, this time they offloaded to Dupont. Has a bit of a fumble of the ball, but it is still on his side, and now he's dropped it again. That's twice in a row that Antoine Dupont has put the ball down. Maybe the pressure of a final starting to get to him a little bit. Of course, this is his first ever, and of course, this is also the first ever for the rest of the French side. Morgan Williams getting forced backwards, this time by Antoine Dupont. They managed to wrestle him down to the ground. Now counter-ruck there from France, and they win the penalty. Okay, grabbing the foot, Morgan Williams. He's going to get yellow carded. I think that Fournier may have milked that for all it's worth. We're going to see it here. No, he did put it out, And then, yeah, Fournier's done the big dive and the flop. It means that Morgan Williams will be off the field now for the next 2 minutes. I have to say, this is just too much of a total to make up. 14 points in 3 minutes normally is doable, but one-man disadvantage, as well as now playing with about 3 players who are injured but are still continuing. This isn't going to look too good for GB by the end of this match. Kalen Burrito once again makes the tackle. Penalty this time goes the way of Great Britain, but they are yet to give up. They want this try to get them back into the contest. Alex Davis, he is injured, but he's continuing. Will Homer, the only man who wasn't injured, coming off the bench for GB in this game. Now passed out wide. Charlton Kerr wrestled towards the touchline by Timu. And Dupont looking for the turnover and the breakdown, doesn't get it. Barreto goes back across to Alex Davis. Almost ended up tackling himself. There just aren't any clean-outs there for Great Britain. Great work from Pasquet. Quick tap taken by Antoine Dupont. Riva with the wide cutout pass here for the corner. Fournier, it's been dragged down, gets it up to Joseph Jefferson Lee, who's wrestled to his back and is held up. The question is whether or not he is in touch, though, because if he is, that will be more than likely the ball of Great Britain. But they want to see if he's got the chance. Why did that lad grab his leg? Not in the Sevens final, says Blues. No, I think it was just out of frustration as well. Little bit of a brain fade. Just check in. I would say that's close to out, but I think at that angle, you'd almost say he is still in. So I think it's going to be a 5-metre scrum for the French, which will not relieve the pressure for Great Britain. This French side, though, they have looked phenomenal throughout this Sevens competition. Like I mentioned, they were defeated by Fiji in their group stage, but from there have not lost a game. So maybe that left shoulder is out of Joseph Jefferson Lee. Okay, the decision is no try. He's held up, and it will be a scrum 5 metres out now for Great Britain. Oh, sorry, for France. Great Britain have to defend it, which once again will not be too easy to be able to do against a one-man advantaged French team. Uruguay now puts the ball in. Dupont goes across to Fournier. Has a juggle, but sometimes that can actually help you out. Grandier now trying to step his way through. Burrito tries to shut it down early. Now back across. Got a pass from Antoine Dupont. Great step from Andy Timo. Many tackles being successful here for Great Britain. Pasquet back to Dupont again. Short ball. Finds it to Fournier, who slams it down. Not only does he dive when a man grabs his foot, he also dives when he scores the try. But that one was definitely one of the better assists we've seen from Antoine Dupont. Just a flat ball to realise that there was that gap there and sees the gap. Fournier goes through and celebrates. Big time. Why did that leg grab his leg? Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Of course, that yellow card has become more costly for Great Britain here. Slams the ball down. 21 points to nil in this final. Now, 30 seconds remaining. France are closing in. Will be their next big title. Some will say it's because of Dupont. Others will say it's because of how hard this French side have been working for the last 2 years to improve. We've seen a lot of standout players throughout this competition, and I just hope that Dupont doesn't get all the credit for what has happened here. We've seen Steven Perez-Martin really step up in this game. He was on the field for the first half. He was getting the kicks over. He got a couple assists and a try. Definitely worth giving him a shout out there. And now Uruguay kicks it off. Not taken cleanly by Sofalarin. You can't blame him. He can't walk. Now going off to the left-hand side. Sling and pass out to Alex Davis, another man who is on one leg. LA Dodgers cap among the French crowd. Says Gus. Sofalarin. It's always concerning when you watch a player trying to run on an injured appendage. Now out wide. Morgan Williams close to the touchline. Tackled by Dupont. Went for the counter ruck. Wasn't able to do so. Now Will Homer in the midfield. Card out, pass out wide to Kalen Barreto. Of course, GB, the last thing they want is to finish this game with a nil. Homer goes back to Alex Davis. France defending extremely well throughout this half. Now, nice step. Morgan Williams, I think Taponka got his head on the wrong side there, got a little bit wobbled. He's all right to continue. Will Homer goes across to, I think that was Robbie Ferguson. He's kicked it in behind. He is chasing after it. Grandier does not take it cleanly. Now the hands were down from GB. France will be able to take this ball, kick it into touch. Oh, a little bit of a juggle. Now they kick it into touch. And the French have won the title for the first time in 19 years. This French side have gone all the way. They're all hugging Antoine Dupont. It wasn't just him though. Like I mentioned, we have seen some great work from this whole French side. I think that looking at the players, Rebage has been sensational. And Jordan Sefo, he has done very well. Zedar has been consistent throughout this whole competition. And Stephen Perez Martin stepping up when it matters most in close games down to the wire. He's normally the man who's made his way onto the field and helped seal the deal for this French side. But 21-0 in the final. The 7th ranked beating the 10th ranked Great Britain. And what has been a tournament of upsets. That one, though, not considered one of the competition. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning into the Sevens. The next leg will be in 1 month's time, taking place in Hong Kong. We will be covering it on the channel. Well done as always. Thank you, Kiwi lads. Cheers, Hamish. Cheers, Blues, Nate. Yeah, fair play to Great Britain. Like, I know the score line doesn't look very good in their favour, but, like, half of their team have been injured throughout this competition. It's just a shame that out of all the games for the injuries to occur nice and early, it was the final. But they still will be more than happy with where they've finished. They'll get 18 points, which will actually boost them up to maybe about 8th or 9th on the overall rankings. Maybe even 7th at a stretch. And thanks, Hamish. I hope you all had a good rest. Says Mikhail, and thanks again, Hamish. Says Gus. And there as well. But nonetheless, we do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I will see you all for the next.